Sunday's game tape to prepare for today's game?
A lot of it is, yeah. We're going to kind of combine our last game against New York and look at video. But yeah, well, if we can duplicate that last game, especially that first period, it's tough to maintain that type of pressure the whole game. Obviously, the opposition is going to have some pushback, which they did in the second, but we did a real good job in that game. We need to duplicate that.
What changes do you anticipate from New York in terms of how they play the game?
Well, I'm going to assume they're going to try and get off to a better start, as far as puck possession and putting pressure on our defensemen. And we just got to be prepared for that. We've got to manage the puck well. We've got to make sure that we keep moving the puck forward and get it deep and establish a real solid forecheck.
Which of the forwards sits down?
Ryan Shannon comes on.
Can I just ask you about your choice of Elliott? Leclerc was the first start against the Rangers over a guy that had a hat trick.
Some of it's a little bit of health fatigue. There's a flu bug going through the room, and Brian came off of a shadow too. So it was a good, like you said, it's a good situation. We've got both goaltenders playing very, very well, and our guys are confident in both goaltenders.
So Leclerc's a little bit under the weather?
We got a few guys, but yeah, he is. Yeah, didn't hear him coughing again out there like he did last time.
Where you can play a fourth line spot?
Yes, right now, yes. To start anyway.
Cory, what's your first line right now?
We don't have a specific first line. We feel we've got two very solid lines, a 1 and a 1A, if you want to look at it that way. We've got some balanced attack, as most teams do. Most teams that are able to put some offensive pressure on you don't just have one line. And our third line against these guys scored 3 goals. So we're hoping to obviously spark our top 2 lines and continue our third line presence. And we feel all 4 lines can score as well, with Peter and Jesse and Alex.
That so-called third line had some good shifts in Montreal as well, second period. Would you consider giving them more ice time, just based on how they played?
Yeah, absolutely. 2 games ago, I think Kelly had 17 minutes, I think. So each game will depend on how it goes. Sometimes when you push them for a goal, our other third line didn't get a shot on net the other night, though. I think they had, Chris Neal was the only guy to that line who had a shot on net, and that was when he was with Jason Spezza, kind of a line change. So even though they did have some pressure, they didn't generate. So for sure, we liked how they played. We just got to have them more finished. That line was in their zone, but they didn't have very good opportunities around the net. So we just need a lot more presence from all 3 of our lines, and our fourth line needs to be solid when they get their ice time.
How do you motivate Alex Kovalev?
A lot of it's got to come from within. A lot of it, there's only so many things you can do. It's the same, I'm sure it's been the same situation throughout his career, that when he plays, he's very dominant. And obviously other nights, he's not. And we need more consistency, not only from him, but from the rest of the team. But if you're asking specifically him, he just needs to be a lot more consistent. You guys see the games. You can see which games he's on and which games he's not.
Does that drive you nuts as a coach?
I'm more concerned with the teammates. They're the ones who are out there working with him and playing with him, and it's, sometimes they don't know which guy is going to show up, and we just need him to be more consistent. And if he is, he's a big part of our team. He's a very good hockey player, and he helps us win games.
Had 2 players score the last 5 goals. How important is it to get contributions collectively?
Well, we need that. Obviously, we talked about that yesterday in our talk here, that we need to get those chances early, and when we do, we have to make good of them. We have to be patient. We also have to take advantage of our opportunities, because when you don't, it often comes back and bites you in the ass, like I did the other night. We had a couple of good chances right off the start, especially in the first shift, and we got to make good of those opportunities. You can edit that ass, can't you?